Decade is winning with 36 votes, guys. You would demand a refund? I can't do refunds. I don't know how. I don't think it's possible. And then you would leave? Oh, I wouldn't do that, you know. I'm a woman of my word. I have honor. Okay, let's see if Decade exists on this. Is that the same? Is that the right game? Adventure game? Indie? I don't know. Is that the right game? Story page? You're gonna see this is a very unique looking game. This is very, very strange. They went with the strangest thing they could do, I think, visually speaking. But yeah, I cannot find Decade in the game options on Twitch. So I guess I'm just gonna keep games and demos. Games and demos. Done. Okay, we're gonna start Decade. Also, I really like drawing with your voice in the background. It relaxes me when I'm drawing. That's good. I'm happy you think my voice is relaxing. I feel like sometimes my voice is annoying, but then everybody's voice kind of annoys them. Sleep podcast when lamb. I don't know. I wouldn't know what to do to make people fall asleep. I could read a story, I guess. I could read a bunch of stories and make a podcast out of that. You bought the boba game instead of Raiders. I would say your honor is shaky. I never promised to buy the Arc Raiders game. I said I was interested in possibly, maybe trying it out because it looks fun when I watch you play. Oh shit. When I started the game, the exact drawing appeared. So that means that it is actually that game on Twitch. That's good. Also, can I just draw a soul instead of the skull? Yeah. We can do whatever you want. Artistic, you know, liberties and creativity. I'm all for it. I am going to get Arc Raiders as a Christmas present to myself. I may have said that. I may have thought this out loud, you know? But yeah. Instead, possibly sounds close to a promise. I mean, it was not a promise. Also, I mean, I'm not growing trees that grow money. I have limitations to my budget. Also, it's like my friend's birthday this week, so we're going for sushi, and that's also gonna eat into the budget a little bit. So it's like another reason. You tell me if the sound's too loud? It looks fine now. So we're playing Decade. It's all about time traveling, a lot of decisions. It's a little fucked up, I can tell you right away. It involves using children to change the past in order to change the future. Oh, that's the only thing I remember from it. And now I'm gonna go make the little change right here so you can see what we're doing. Alright, this is the startup, guys. It looks like this. Decade, and it asks me to enter a name. So you guys make up my name right now. Go ahead, the first name that shows up in the chat is going to be the name I use for the rest of this game. I like physically cannot draw a skull to save my life. Yeah, it's really, really hard. Alright, I got Noodle. I guess that is what it is. Why did the music stop? What the hell? The music stopped when I spelled the name. Haha. Wait. I know Gotcha Lamb? Was that a name? No, Noodle was a name. Okay, I think Wolfie's the one who got the name first. The world has ended. A metallic rain has pounded all life on Earth into a silvery black pulp. You were raised in a facility designed to protect against the rains. 5 years ago, when even these facilities deteriorated, you left along with thousands of other children to try and find some way of surviving. You were 12. The rain slaughtered them. They slaughtered each other, but you and 3 younger children that you managed to protect found this place. A sophisticated bunker built deep into the side of a mountain, which draws water from deep underground, able to synthesize food from its algae. It won't last forever, but it has kept you all alive these past 5 years. You spent that time learning about the strange machine contained within this bunker, a machine that allows you to send someone into the past and retrieve them after they have spent 10 years there. Now it's time to use it. Whoa. What do I do now? Do I click? The presentation of the imagery is disturbing a bit, yeah. It's almost like... Okay, what is this? It's almost like a 90s indie game. Like, it doesn't look recent. It's intriguing. Also, the sound is very low in the game. So now is the end times, and we can send somebody back during this time period, I guess. We can send Mons, age 8, determination 14. I don't know what that means. Oh, that's their determination as a person. And sensitivity 5. Jag is age 9, determination is 10, but their sensitivity is 10. And Ula, who is age 11, has a determination of 7 and a sensitivity of 18. I don't think we should send a very sensitive person to the year 400, because I feel like the year 400 might be like very harsh humanity and human conditions. I'm gonna go with the middle one, the sensitivity 10. Oh god, my game is fucking up. Click on a character to close this chat window. You can pick up where you left off in the conversation at any time. Each character has their own personality, but will be dramatically affected as they age by the periods they visit, as well as the things you say to them. Hey, Jag. Good morning, loser. No, loser, you're a loser. No. How are you feeling today? I'm okay. Mom's tried to climb the bookshelf this morning and fell down. Is she okay? Ula put a plaster on her and I told her not to do it again, but she wanted to, but I didn't let her. Do you remember what today is, Jag? Beans Day, yeah. No, it's the day the 3 of you start going into the machine. Can we have beans though? Maybe when you come back out. We go into the machine and then we come out and we're really, really big. Yeah, I guess he's 9 years old. He doesn't understand what the fuck's happening. It looks like a Russian game. I don't think it's a Russian game. What's a Russian game? Let me check. Who made this game? It's made by a group called Laspiskayan. And developer Laspiskayan. They haven't made anything else. They haven't made anything else. That's all there is to know about them. I don't know. Does Russian games have a specific aesthetic? I don't know. Me neither. I'm being serious with you, Jag. It's going to be tough. I know. Okay, then I can't say anything else. Mons, can I talk to you? I'm ready. Hello, Mons. Will I be going first? Do you understand what is going to happen? We're going to make the world better so we can leave this bunker and everything will be great. Will I get a tattoo? Yes, just before you go, to remember why. So we don't forget how to come back, its coordinates, and the time to be there, but I won't forget. I know you won't, Mons, but it's just to be sure. 10 years is a long time. I guess. Let's talk to Eula. Hey Eula, morning. How are you feeling? Fine. Are you worried about going into the machine? No. Don't be afraid. You're the oldest, you have to stay strong or things will become absurd for all of us, but no matter what, we must stick together. Remember, I love you. She doesn't want to say anything else. Oh, again, a loyal trait. Oh, I didn't see those traits. Oh, she got loyal, but these two didn't get anything. Well, that's good to know, I guess. What do I do now? Do I carry him? I don't know what to do. How do I play? Oh, sending somebody to the past inevitably changes the present, but if you can retrieve enough information on such things as astral events, sonic parameters, and environmental idiosyncrasies, You can send a person back safely while ensuring your current existence. I shall assign... Send back to the decade to discover what happened. We'll send Jag. Confirm. I don't know what's gonna happen. This looks fucked up. Did you miss me? Haha! It was a tough 3 minutes. Ha! I bet it was like a coffin in here. Tell me about the past you just came from. This may seem incredible to you. Oh, he's become violent. But there were no rains. Well, not always. And when there was rain, it wasn't toxic at all. Even so, it was a very dangerous time. There was no fear of death. People were violent and impulsive. Go on. It was a strange time. People roamed, scavenging the remnants of cities and civilization, hunting the few animals that existed. There was no universal communication system beyond radio. There was radio in 400? What do they mean? They lived lives of private endeavor, seeking only to make themselves stronger, strong enough to kill and dominate in the conflicts which arose wherever they came across another. People killed for resources, for territory, but a lot of the time, just because they saw it as a virtue, they called this way of thinking vetiverism. Never heard of that. Oh, you're trying to remember what games it reminds you of. Oh, interesting. I'm done with the outline once again. Nice! Like NPPD, Rush, The Milk of Ultraviolet, Bloodbath, Kafka's. I've never heard of those games. What are these weather frequencies you brought back? Honestly, I don't know, but they seem important. They must be related to the rains. A weak man gave them to me in return for his life. He seemed to think they were extremely valuable. He implied that there were lots of people interested in them. I tried to learn more, but I couldn't. Well done. I also got some variables for a previous time. Found them in an old building that I was going to set up a trading post with a few other people in. It didn't happen, but I took advantage of the chaos to make off with this stuff. Good, I'm proud of you. I'm just happy to see all of you again. I can't believe this works. How did you survive? It wasn't easy. I got lucky more than a few times. I was a slave for almost a year, but I broke free. Still, even with all that time's craziness, it was wonderful to breathe the air and feel real grass. Didn't people band together? Sometimes people acted together, but only temporarily. Community was seen as weak, shameful. Even family was seen as dubious, a mere consequence of sex. Killing as a virtue. Oh, the art style, not the gameplay. Okay. Well, to me, it just feels like a 90s game. Like an early 90s game, possibly. Sort of a natural law. It's hard to explain. It's like a religion. Heh, it's kind of funny. What is? Well, I'm older than you now, but it still seems like you're my... And then I have a bunch of decisions. Hello, welcome in, Suzune. I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you so much for coming by and raiding. Welcome in, raiders. We're playing a really, really strange but intriguing game right now called Decade about time traveling children. What were you doing? Were you also playing the festival games? Wolfie, you got that code from Mark Raiders. It's a pretty good one. This looks interesting. It looks very intriguing. I've never seen this kind of like game before. It's really unique. You were also playing some festival games? What game? If you have time, like you don't have to stick around. If you want to raid and run, that's all good too. But if you want to talk about it, I'd be super curious. I discovered so many games through like a bunch of people playing for the festival too. My crazy wish list is now so big on Steam. It's impossible to handle. You were playing Unmasked Truth, and the wide open sky is running out of catfish. What? The title of the second one is absolutely amazing. Unmasked Truths. That's hard to say for me. Don't shoot Raider. Mathis! You two are so obsessed with Arc Raiders. I really need to play it. I know I do, okay? You don't need to convince me. I will play it eventually. Have you played a lot of games during the festival? I feel like I played so many games. The catfish game was so cozy, but punched me in the feelings in a good way. Interesting. I like that kind of game. Today we've been playing 3 games. We played, initially one was called What was it? Ah! My brain died. One sec. Something dreams. Shit, I don't remember. Quality Dreams. Reasonably priced. That was a very good first game that we played. It was like a cyberpunk story where you sell mods to people, but you kind of can be scummy and get more money out of them by pushing mods that they don't need, or just give them what they want. And then we played I'm Making a Monster, which is like a story, like a very pretty watercolor game, mostly a visual novel. And now, yeah, we're playing this decade game. We streamed basically every day. It was crazy but fun. I did the same. I never stream every day. It's so much more energetic to do that. Like, I felt like there was so much momentum to playing every day like that. I hope you had a lot of fun like trying that out. That's really cool. We don't get to mention arc raiders till you get it. Hey, I will mention what I want, Wolfie. I will do what I want. I will mention arc raiders and how much I want to play it. And one day I'll buy it. Just might not be today or tomorrow. But yeah, welcome in. If you want to stick around, it's going to be a cozy time of torturing children by sending them back in time to learn about Earth's history. Up till now, I was not expecting history to be so different from what we understand as our history on Earth. Feels like it's very different in this world. And yeah, seems a little bit grim and dark, so I'm warning you guys, but it seems kind of cozy. There's no fighting or danger to ourselves from what I know, but also if you want to raid and run, if you need to eat, sleep, or whatever, that's all good too. I'm gonna introduce myself, might be a good idea. I'm Lamentation, writing Lamentation, or Lam. Some people call me Noodle, but don't listen to them. I am a horror-focused RPG game player for the most part. I kind of play widely, to be honest, but I do like the horror stuff and a little darker topics. She prefers Noodle. I do not prefer Noodle. You would think that, Wolfie, but only you would think that. So now we have one of the child. The first one that we sent back in time is older. He came back as 19 years old. He was 9 before we sent him back in time. Listen to us call her Noodle. She likes it. And now I'm an actual noodle. You guys, you're betraying me right now. You silly guys. Well, I guess, you know, if I am a noodle, you may call me Noodle. That's fine. This is very Terminator storyline. That's a good point. I didn't think of that. Kind of fits with the look also of the game, I guess. Ooh, it moves. I didn't know it moved before. Well, also he became violent, so I'm kind of worried. Also, he became more sensitive and more determined. That's interesting. Well, he says, when I'm older than you now, but it still seems like you're my... What am I? Protector? I suppose so, in a way. What matter, that words don't matter. What matters is that we all love and protect each other. You know, seeing you like this, I feel like I finally understand. Understand what? How you ended up leading the group. Out there, I mean, even though you were only 12, younger than a lot of the others. Nobody else was willing to do the things I had to do, or I prefer not to think about those times. No, it was going to be this. Nobody else was willing to do the things I had to do. You don't need to tell me. I haven't forgotten. Heck, do you recall that time I threw a tantrum about walking so much and you and Zahn dragged me through the mud for what felt like miles? I remember. I think telling a child that you don't remember something that they vividly remember sucks. I've had that a lot with my parents mostly. They don't remember stuff that they've said to me and I'm like, I remember vividly and I was so mad when you told me this, and they're like, I don't remember, and it pisses me off even more. But yeah. I realized that I'm drawing at 9. Meh. It's just that I usually stop drawing at the time to let my brain rest, but you're an exception. That's very sweet. I hope you don't overexert yourself, you know? Are they speaking backwards, like a single word backwards? Maybe. There is a sound, but I do feel like it's kind of going so fast I don't understand. What happened to Zahn? I don't recall. He just disappeared one day. It's Russian. Wolfie and you're Russian. He failed to insulate his suit and got sick. He was dead by the next morning. Sickness? Oh, I'm glad I don't have to see anything like that anymore, hopefully. So that's Jagged for us. Let's talk to Mons. She doesn't want to talk. Okay, if I don't send them, there's nothing. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so now we discovered this. This is the time of the Vetiverists. And now we have a new time that we can visit. It's unknown and it's previous. Okay, we can assign somebody here. Do we send Mons, who's the youngest, or Ula, who's the oldest? She has a lot of sensitivity. She might not survive very well. Well, Mons is the least sensitive. Maybe we should send Mons. Yeah, I'll do that. Oh, you're in ads, it's okay. Not a single day went by. Okay, she brings what? She brings a stack of newspapers added to inventory, poster added, and some sort of art. Not a single day went by when I didn't think about you all. Only the thought of you kept me alive. I'm sure you did well, Mons. What did you discover? Quite a lot. It's a lot more peaceful than the time of the Vetiverists. So I was able to learn quite a bit. Not only about the period I went to, but even earlier eras. What did you learn? I gathered variables for 2 different periods prior to the time I visited. I couldn't get anything further back. Very well, tell me about them. Years before the time I went to, there was a lot of activity. A prosperous period where a lot of stuff was built. Before that, there was something called the Great Smothering. What is the Great Smothering? It was actually referred to as the Great Beginning. The term smothering was seen as a bit subversive towards Nerolianism, emphasizing what came before rather than what came afterwards. There was a growing anti-Nerolian sentiment in the time I went to, though it was still somewhat underground. What exactly was smothered? The past. Great Smothering was what they called the period during which they eradicated everything from the past. Records, culture, art, everything. Anything from the past that held any kind of inherent psychological or artistic value. Everything from the smallest teacup design to the largest architectural structure was destroyed if it didn't adhere to certain Nerolian principles. Anyone preserving such things was punished, though it seems like most people at the time believed fully in the concept. I'm not good remembering history's event. Me neither, and this is not real history. This is gonna be really hard to keep straight. Why? It sort of depends on who you ask. There's the accepted history, the subversive one, and then all sorts of conspiracy theories. I think the subversive one might be maybe closer to reality. I don't know. Accepted, subversive. Some people were starting to say that life before the smothering was actually better than what came afterwards. They thought that the Great Smothering, perhaps even Nerolianism itself, was just a method of gathering and retaining power. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the gifted sub. Dinosaur, you're now out of the ad hell. Thank you so much, Wolfie. That's very sweet of you. You don't have to do that. Well, I'm sure Dinosaur is going to be very grateful. It was very sweet. Certain Nerolians, maybe other clandestine groups, it was frowned upon to even talk about such things, so it was often spoken about very vaguely. Yeah, tell me about the conspiracy theories. There were lots of stories, although it became hard to tell which were intended as entertainment and which were disguised as it. Some people were desperate for things to believe beyond Nerolianism, I think. Some suggested that the smothering was an attempt to cover up terrible things from humanity's past, things which would make it impossible to go on. I knew a man who believed it was a way of suppressing human beings' inherent supernatural abilities. There was also this idea that violence and chaos were humanity's true birthright, the only things which could bring a person true fulfillment. That's dark. That's so freaking dark. I think a lot of it was just a malaise, people yearning for something other than the world they found themselves in. I don't think there's anything of value to these theories. Wait, what's the accepted story? That there was nothing worthwhile before the Nerolian age, that the stuff destroyed was all just clutter, that the incredible prosperity which followed was proof of Nerolianism and the great beginnings virtue. I don't think there's anything of value. That there was nothing worthwhile before the Nerolian age, that the stuff destroyed was all just clutter. Oh, wait. Tell me about this prosperous period. It was an incredible time of great people, though that might just be the self-glorification of history. It wasn't big or grandiose. That went against the Nerolian principles of the time. It was a pure kind of beauty, an efficient kind of luxury. What about vetiverism? It was an underground movement populated by people too weird and abrasive to adjust to society. It was a fairly superficial movement. They loved violence without actually engaging in it. They liked its radical nature. I don't think many were smart enough to come up with the idea themselves, though. Yeah. Maybe the destructiveness of vetiverism was the cause of our current situation. We have to stop it before it develops. I don't think it's so much about stopping it. That may be impossible. Natural forces, as you always say, but perhaps the anger, frustration, and need for a counterbalance to Nerolianism among people can be channeled into something else. Yeah, were there other ideas? That's what I spent a lot of time investigating. Things were starting to emerge, but only on the fringes. Bergamism, Cedarism, people into them were seen as radicals, idiots. Dangerous though. Many I think were false, but some seemed promising. I brought back some materials related to them. What about the Nerolian? Yeah, it was the foundation and purpose of the world back then. But what is it? Essentially, it was the idea of focus being the most important quality, of removing anything that held no value. In Nerolianism, one must think like the arrow, not the target. There was little respect for a person who had many interests. For instance, you were meant to be singularly dedicated and pure and become a perfect expression of something. I could never do that. Thanks, you did well. And okay, that's it. What do we have now? We have this. The great smothering. That the past is irrelevant, distraction is death, options obstruct. Entertainment pollutes the mind, history paralyzes the soul. These tenets of Nerolianism become universal as people embrace them, viewing the immense accumulation of culture as a repulsive burden upon civilization. Nerolians set about destroying all of it, so that they may grow closer to that most valuable of virtues, focus. Because of this, gathering the variables needed for any time before this will be difficult. Okay, so we need to send someone who would be able to do a good job here. What? Whoa, what am I supposed to do here? I'm gonna send Ula with the Bergamist art to subvert the smothering. Oh, that's a lot. Okay. We're trying something, guys. We're changing history. This is very scary. Are you worried about going into the machine? Oh, wait. I can't stop crying. It's okay, Ula, you're back now. This place seems so much smaller than I remember it. Darker. How was it? It was a rather exciting time, actually. They had many names for it. The new beginning, the great inception, the new future, that sort of thing. There was a sense that it really was the start of something positive, a new vision of life. Did you learn anything about what happened before all this? Not much. It was surprisingly difficult, even though there were people still alive who must have known what came before. There were strict laws against discussing it, but more than that, it was simply an assumed truth that the clean future was good and dredging of the past was destructive and negative. What was life like? Quite active. Everybody was involved in removing the old world and building the new. Every day you would see a building torn down or a new one go up. a new sculpture in public, or a new design concept for everyday objects. This sense of purpose gave everyone a sense of togetherness that made life quite easy, and the changes around them made it seem like anything was possible. What do you think, Noodle? I mean, about Nerolianism? Yeah, I don't believe we should forget the past. I think it could teach us many things. Noodle, I have to confess something. You know you can tell me anything. Even though it was such a strange time that I went to, there were moments when I thought about not coming back. Oh, but Ula was loyal. We made her loyal before she left. That's interesting. Why? I'm not as tough as all of you. Yes, you are, Ula, in your own way. What way? You survived. Only 4 of us did. Doesn't that prove it to you? I survived because of you, Noodle. And I survived because of you. Really? Without you, there would be no reason to survive. Thank you, Noodle. Well, it seems like we failed, though. They're not children anymore, so now what? Assign a child. There's no other child, so I assign adults now? I'm gonna send Mons. No. Ula? No. Mons? Oh, they're not children anymore. Oh yeah, they are. Okay, that's good. I was assigning Mons with the poster. I don't know what the poster is. To kill Nerolianism. Confirm. Maybe I should have sent Jag instead. Jag is our violent one. I'm set about destroying. Oh, I don't have time to read. Nothing changed. I need help. Do you have any ideas on what to do during the Great Smothering? I think the goal should be to find the variables we need so that we can get to an era before it. Thanks, but how? I did everything I could to find something pre-smothering these past 10 years, and it's almost impossible. The entirety of the system is focused upon the smothering. There must be something which survived. They can't have destroyed everything. Absolutely, I did find little bits and pieces in junkyards and abandoned areas. Nothing substantial, though. I'm sure there were lots of people who kept or forgot things, but the penalties for doing that were harsh. Maybe I need to send someone with the right characteristics, the right qualities? No, that won't do you no good. I was diligent enough. I believe you need something else. Then what? Well, all that pre-smothering information hidden away in attics and cellars might emerge much later, perhaps, if Nerolianism deteriorates enough for it to become acceptable. Or it might simply be a question of power. Okay. Okay, well, all that pre-smothering information, well, oh, I just responded. You're right, we're more likely to find an earlier area by looking at the more disrupted period that came after the smothering. Okay, I know what that means. I'll go back to this one. I will assign Jag here. And what are we gonna send him for? Why do we send him with something? We could go with like a stack of newspaper maybe to learn in the research labs maybe? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm literally just going around in circles, guys. But Jag is our most violent, so maybe he's gonna survive well in that place. Did you learn anything new, Jag? Yes, a number of vetiverists wanted to make a push for total dominance. They began working together secretly due to the shameful nature of working so closely with others, and were using slave labor to develop new weapons. They fell once total dominance was established. All things would be excused in their fulfillment of vetiverous principles. What sort of weapons? That was their other shameful secret. These were not honorable combat weapons, but clandestine devices based on old technology which could wreak mass destruction, weather manipulation being one of them. Sounds like they succeeded. Yes, but perhaps we can stop them. I learned the name of a man instrumental in the project, Woldot. Good work. But what am I supposed to do with that information? Also, Jag is so old now. It's okay to run in circles. I don't think we can do better. Yeah, we're missing so much information. I think we should go back here though and keep making research here. I could send Eula, who's loyal, and we can go learn about Woldot with the drawing. I don't even know what the drawing does. Let's go. Music is so creepy. She's 31. She's too old. Did you learn anything new? Yes, a number of vetiverists wanted to make a push for total. Oh, it's the same information. It's not helpful. I guess we can go here instead then. I'm gonna send the months with a sniper rifle to learn about what are these options? Alchemists. You know what? We do have a sniper rifle though now. That's kind of fun. Yeah. Some of which will contain a sense of passing. There's a lot of frustration during this time, a yearning for something new. It's obvious why people turn to vetiverism. I think also that Nerolianism was never truly destroyed. It was adapted into something else. The absolute exclusive focus encouraged by Nerolianism combined and distorted with the principles of vetiverism to create the extreme time of the vetiverists. A purity of focus and the value of strength created killing as a virtue. Indeed, there are already some ideas opposing the Nerolians here, not just the vetiverists. Perhaps we can help one of those other groups. It wouldn't be easy, but with some determination or maybe just the right contact. Who do you think I should help? Well, the vetiverists didn't need any help since it seems they won out anyway. The Nerolians already had their time and were subverted, so of the other groups, I guess whoever seems most prominent. We can go and try to see who's dominant here, but my guys are starting to get a little old. We're gonna send Jag, who's violent, with the weather frequencies for some reason, to learn about this person, Rero Rig. I'm doing random shit. I'm not sure how much these things like have an impact. It's hard to tell. So Jag is now 39 years old. You look well. I enjoyed it. It was a happy time. There was energy. Oh, he's now docile. He's violent and docile. Ula is now violent and loyal. What the fuck's happening? I enjoyed it. It was a happy time. There was energy and an optimism for the future. A sense that things were getting better all the time. It felt very strange to be the only person who knew that things wouldn't. Oh, what did you learn? It was hard to learn anything. The fundamental principle of society was Nerolianism, which meant the removal of our superfluous or alternate ideas, making it hard to discover anything beyond it. We already know enough about Nerolianism. What were the people like? To me, to us, they seemed odd but good. They were honest, direct, but somewhat boring. They were dedicated to their chosen work or purpose, which might make them seem simple, though in such a society, the smallest idiosyncrasy became hugely important. Perception of an entire person could focus upon their use of a certain word or a small mannerism, for instance. What did you do? I didn't need to do much to survive. There was so much opportunity in production that living was easy. It was a society in which you could do whatever you wanted, as long as it adhered in some way to Nerolianism. It wasn't forced. No, it wasn't a top-down thing. It was more all around you, a philosophy that ran through everything. The architecture, the language, the people. It was a belief that every soul carried within them. Do you think we can influence this time period in any meaningful way? Despite how well things were going, I think so. There were definitely elements that we could exploit. There was constant discussion about society and its undertakings by everyone. Such discussions were odd in that they often focused on what should be forgotten and consigned to the past, rather than whether to direct the future. Go on. There was a woman called Tam Welk, for instance, who grew in prominence during the decade. She was a good leader and a unique thinker who had a talent for foreseeing problems. A pivotal figure, I think. There were also intense arguments around design. Factions formed and rearranged themselves constantly around such ridiculous ideas, things like the nature and purpose of corners, color contrasts, or the shape of light switches. They all adhered to the principles of Nerolianism, of course, but differed on how to manifest them. There was a serious fear that art and design was how radicals could potentially subvert things. Art and design? Okay, well that could be the thing. We could literally try to do that. Finally, there was a controversial idea that began to gather steam while I was there that people over 50 should be encouraged to kill themselves. The fear was that they were more inclined to retain old, superfluous ideas and also might have accumulated the power to maintain them. A man named Riro Hig was the figurehead. The argument against his was that the young were more impulsive and were thus just as, if not more, likely to subvert Nerolianism. Did he succeed? We haven't seen evidence of it, but then again, it could have occurred after this decade at some point, with all memory of it removed in Nerolian fashion. I couldn't change anything meaningful enough. Oops, what's going on, dinosaur? Why you say oops? I need help figure out what to do. Okay, so it's okay, we'll get it next time. Next time, another 10 years. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're gonna be very old by the time we're done here. We are going to kill Tam Welk. And I'll do it with Eula. With a sniper rifle. Kill Tam Welk. I'm sending murderous child back in time, who's not a child anymore. Thing. I couldn't change anything meaningfully enough. God damn it, I sent you to kill someone. That should have been meaningful. Another 10 years. Yeah, I'm gonna send you to... We're going to use Bergamist art to help radical designers with Mons. I just spilled my water all over my drawing. No! I wasn't that far into it, but the outline was so good. I'm so sorry. That sucks. Oh, you had an effect on the timeline, it seems. A good one? There's a density of flora around the bunker. We have flora around the bunker. Flora. Strange. Plant life seems to be thriving despite dramatically different atmosphere. Woo! I'm gonna drink water. Thank you so much for the hydrate. But there doesn't seem to be any sign of sentient life outside. Nobody at all. It's impossible to tell with our sensors. There may be survivors though. Our filtration system is going crazy. Why? The air is full of toxins. We can't breathe if we leave then? Probably not. Maybe if we devise or find oxygen tanks, though skin contact could still be a problem. Can we leave? I think it would be better for us to try to change things again. Okay, I don't know what I did. I did something big though. Look at that! Time is completely different now. Shit! I had pen outlined already. So it's spread across the paper. No fixing that. No, I guess not. You remember to make me drink because dinosaurs spilled water? Oh no. Well, I'm not sending a child back. I'm now sending an adult. Go there. We need to discover what's happening now. Tell me what you found. You're welcome, thanks. Everywhere I went, there were masses of people, crowds, their individuality, their complexity, their humanity gone, perhaps forever. They acted as a mob, following others around them. It was humiliating to see, but they were beyond even feeling shame. It was terrible seeing the depths of what humans can become. Had civilization fallen? Yes, sort of. Sort of. Civilization had become a backdrop, an empty ritual, the meaning of which was lost. The people were surrounded by the works of civilization, its systems, politics, culture. They had no sense of how much had gone into building them, or even maintaining them. Of course, it was easy for me to see. But it was surprising just how much these things were being taken for granted. The people were long detached from the process of building a civilization and knew only how to reap its benefits. What was the problem exactly? I spent a lot of time thinking about that. There were a few, very few, people considering that problem back then as well. There are some theories, of course. Most people insisted that there was no problem at all. Tell me these theories. Loki might fall asleep to your stream. That's all good. You go and relax in bed and find some, comfortable position and drift right back into dreams. The dream world is the best world. Personally, I think in the time I visited, it was too little too late. But with the benefit of hindsight, some thinkers had convincing arguments for what had gone wrong. There was one about humanity's psychic wound. Then there was another very controversial notion about the sanctity of human life. One that suggested overpopulation was inevitable but needn't be detrimental. And another that proposed it as a self-correcting problem. How can overpopulation not be detrimental? In short, when you're already in power, it sounds odd, perhaps, but some writers suggested that the larger a population, the easier it is to control. According to them, the scarcity of resources makes people even more dependent on systems. That is kind of true. And thus, those who control them. The many humiliations one endures in an overpopulated society are easier to tolerate when surrounded by others suffering the same, and if a disgruntled, rebellious, or antagonistic sentiment ever does rise, then it is more often directed at those in close proximity who feel the same sentiments. That's true. That's why you got people at each other's throat, not realizing that they are making, they are scapegoating the wrong people to their problems, is what I'm gonna say. I honestly think that I have reached my limit on electronics because my eyes and my head hurt, but I don't really care at this point. Hey, you should really take care of yourself. If you need to take a rest, it's all good. You should take a break. You should go rest. Like, I'm super thankful for you coming by, but you don't need to get yourself sick or hurt by staying here. It's really important to me that you take care of yourself. Okay? It's just 9:30, but I know what you mean. Like earlier I took a coffee and it's probably gonna keep me up all night, and it's not something I recommend people do. So make better decisions than me, is what I'm gonna say. Who would even want to rule over such a civilization? A stupid populace willing to do anything for crumbs is the perfect state of things for some. The powerful just don't want to live in such a civilization, and they didn't. Their lives were detached. Entirely different, I imagine. I couldn't get close to them at all. This is literally our society right now, by the way, guys. Shame the streamer for being irresponsible. But yeah, you should take a break. Exactly. Mr. Robot has the right of it. We know already this isn't a self-correcting problem. Yes, but there are still interesting concepts in the writings I found. They typically looked at animal populations, for example. Say an island can support 100 deer. If you put only a few deer there, they would quickly grow to around 100 and population would level off. If you put 200 deer there, they would experience death, disease, starvation, and other issues until they reduced in number to about 100, a stable number. Humans are in deer. We will destroy ourselves before we stabilize our numbers. The key factor isn't the deer but the island itself, or in this case, civilization. The Rolians created a civilization so strong it could support billions upon billions, but paradoxically, those billions bring about issues which cause that civilization to crumble. The writer behind this theory claimed there were historical examples for the demographic causes of the rise and fall of civilizations, ones that he'd somehow retrieved from before the smothering, which of course got him into a lot of trouble. He said the difference this time was that the extremes were so great that they had become potentially fatal. Ultimately, the problem was that Nerolian civilization was too successful, too prosperous, too generative, too productive. It was inevitable that it would crumble beneath the weight of its own success. No, I'm gonna watch till the end because I can. Then I didn't sleep. Then I shall sleep. Well, okay, but I'm not gonna stay up too much longer anyway. couple more minutes of trying to decipher what's going on, and then I'm probably gonna call it, you know, call it quits, because I also need to sleep. The sanctity of human life. Do you remember when you used to kill? If I hadn't, there wouldn't be a single soul left on this planet. Or I did it to protect us. We would never have found this place otherwise. I know. Back then people don't think like that. However, to them, nothing is more sacred than their human life. To murder is the ultimate sin, and death is their greatest fear. Even as the signs of strain appear all around them, they throw all their energies into prolonging life. That sounds so much like us today. That's crazy. They're unhealthy, but demand that the sick be healed. They admit living is misery, but insist nobody should die. They see the strain on resources, but insist on rationing supply rather than demand. This is very dark. Whereas for you, perfect. That's very contradictory. It is. Anyway, some people suggested that this quite fundamental idea was the problem, this sort of compassion without rationality. They didn't just criticize it as short-termist and stupid, however. They believed it had a sociopathological foundation. Go on. They said that humans and societies become conscious of that society's needs, but at the expense of their personal ones. A man on his own is keenly aware of his well-being. A man in a balanced society is conscious of both his own and the needs of those around him. But the man living among an inconceivably large number of other men ceases to become an individual at all. Yeah, the idea that when you're in a crowd, there is such a thing as a crowd mentality. And literally when you lose your individuality and your ability to do whatever you personally want in the crowd, you kind of go with it. It's very interesting in terms of psychology. Also, did you get your Twizzlers? I did get my Twizzlers. Yeah. They were very good. I did not regret any of my decisions. He is contorted into a cell, part of the mass. He enters a primeval state where all of his behaviors and thoughts instead favor the mass. His concern for others is only the most expedient way of taking care of himself, hence the obsession with the sanctity of life. The effect is so profound that behaviors and mentalities can be thought of as coming from the mass rather than a group of individuals. The mass requires more mass at all costs to the individuals within it, be they economic, cultural, or practical, thus the sanctity of life. That's all well and good, but how does all that theorizing offer any kind of solution? At its root, the sanctity of life emerges due to people's pathological fear of death. A civilization which glorified death, which exalted it as noble, honorable, magnificent throughout art or stories perhaps, would become immune to the idea of the sanctity of life. Association with glorify. Okay, so we need to make them glorify death, but become immune to the idea of the sanctity of life, and thus the mass that it thinks as one. But that was the vetiverist. They were glorifying death and killing at all costs. You should eat the Twizzlers instead of eating my cousins. I ate both. In turn. You know? One Twizzler, one dinosaur. One Twizzler, one dinosaur. That's what you gotta do. You got to diversify. Tell me more about the psychic wound theory. This one is interesting. The writer who articulated it developed a cult following, and his murder only made it grow. It seemed to be gaining even more steam just before I left, though I guess it didn't amount to anything. It goes like this. For thousands, tens of thousands of years, humans lived with the unknown. They had regions, territories, places that they knew, but there were always boundaries, frontiers, beyond which anything could exist. The most savage dangers or the most wonderful treasures could possibly reside in this unknown. This is why, he argued, humans developed curiosity, an appetite for risk, a sense of adventure. Humans are beings of exploration, he said, in a way that no other animal is. A relationship with the unknown is fundamental to humanity. This feels a lot like a very philosophical experiment of a game. I'm super intrigued about it, super interested, but it is a little bit hard to follow. I don't know about you guys. One Twizzler, zero dinosaur? Well, we might reach that point depending on how many Twizzlers there are compared to how many dinosaurs. And I have not counted, so I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be one dinosaur, zero Twizzler. I don't know. It is quite interesting. The problem then was that the world as it was back then was entirely mapped. Cataloged, documented, and known, they had systems that allowed you to message people across the planet instantly. You could find live visual feeds of anywhere you wanted, information about every place, person, and thing which existed. It was impossible to get lost, impossible to step foot where nobody had stepped before. There were no unimaginable dangers and no undiscovered treasures. He thought this was such a profound loss for humans that he called it the psychic wound. Did he have a solution? Yes, though after his death, it was interpreted and reinterpreted into various ideas, such as transcendence and new languages, which people argued about constantly. Essentially, however, his solution was simple: space. The only thing which could satisfy humanity's physical, psychological, and spiritual need was to begin exploring beyond the planet, he believed. Yeah, he's right. I wonder. No more theories. Noodle, I'm sure this seems like a silly thing to ask about. You probably think I'm being weak and sentimental, but for some reason, I kept wondering about it. Go on. I can't remember. Or maybe it's just that my memories are so muddled. I can't tell which are real and which I've just made up. Anyway, I wanted to ask where you found me, out there, before we got to the bunker. Ooh, no, I'm gonna stop you right there, buddy. No, you're not gonna stop me right there, buddy. Don't you buddy me. Isn't that a bad word to say buddy? Isn't it a pejorative word? Buddy? I don't know why it reminds me. Is it Venom who says buddy in a very cute, pitiful way? Buddy or something like that. Or maybe I'm misremembering. I found you barely breathing in a pile of dead bodies, probably your family. Oh God, do I tell him this? Yeah, I don't want to hide stuff. He's 49, he can handle it. Oh. They have been killed. You had an older sister and brother who looked a lot like you. That's why I figured you were family. Your mother was pregnant. What the fuck? This is fucking dark shit I'm telling him. We almost missed you, you know, all bloody in that pile of flesh. But Yer always checked for pulses. I think they wanted something from your father. He seemed important and they had ransacked his things. Important? Our group split that day. Just a guess. I wanted to track down the killers. There was a good chance of finding something useful. Half the group wanted to avoid them. I found them, 5 men in the bunker. Thanks for telling me. I suppose I should give my thanks to Yer. Ha, shame I can't buy her a drink. Yeah, Yer is probably too young. Maybe I don't really remember. I think it was him. Buddy. Or it might be Deadpool. One of them uses the word buddy in a funny way. Okay, and I'm curious about this time now. Who do we send? Our youngest one is Ula, so let's go. Ula, we sacrifice you. I choose you. Pokemon. The past 10 years have been quite depressing. I can tell you that for a start. In what way? It's a civilization in decline, and though everyone can feel something is wrong, a lot of them don't even realize it yet. What sort of decline? By almost every metric, society was getting worse. Even in the decade I was there, the change was noticeable. Once beautiful places were made ugly, people became less kind, less interesting. It was as if humans had become primarily concerned with the territorial and lost their sensitivity to other things. Also, Ula just got something new? No, okay, she's got the same things. It's a happy tone of voice to declare I sacrifice you. Yeah? Because it's a game? Many groups were beginning to emerge from the chaos, claiming to have answers. Bergamists, Cedarists, Vetsiverists even. How did you cope with it? I knew I would be coming back here eventually, still it was difficult. I got married to a rich man. He inherited his wealth and suddenly life became much easier. That's the kind of world it was, one in which nothing is really earned. Did you love him? I didn't marry for love, but yes, at one point. You wouldn't understand, but 10 years is a long time. Enough to fall in love, and enough to fall out of it. Anyway, it allowed me to see many aspects of the world as it was. Did you hate everything about that era? Not everything. Being beautiful made people nice to me. Being rich made it possible to do anything. But one gets used to such things. Only meaning can make one happy. And there was none of it to be found there. Wow, this is dark. Sounded quite practiced though. Yes, Mr. Robot. I'm very good at pretending to be happy. Pretending to have gleefulness in my voice when I say horribly dark things. It's part of the role. Do you think we can influence this time period then? Perhaps people's deep desperation might make it easy to direct them if we have something substantial to offer, an idea, a goal, something more human than technology. I'm more than twice your age now, Noodle. Yeah, you are, I guess. You're 51, Ula, and I'm probably still 12. I know. Isn't it time we consider sending you back? I'm sure you could achieve more than any of us. But who would operate the machine? One of us could learn. The systems of this bunker won't last more than a few more years. It took me 5 to learn how to operate it. We spent decades in the past. Couldn't you have given us the materials when we went so that we could use that time for learning? What is this about? Do you think I'm lying, Ula? No, of course not. Then why are you asking this? I'm not sure if I pity or envy the fact you'll never go back like we do. This is pretty dark. I thought we would learn more about this time, but this time had a lot more to it. The biomass and the overpopulation and its prosperity through immaculacy. It's still the same past, but a different in-between period. The Great Smothering still occurs, but our ending is now very different. We now have flowers of death, which are not much better, to be honest, than rains of metal. But yeah, this is the game, guys. So I don't think I'm gonna go much further than this because it gets very complicated, and I have a feeling I'm gonna kill these kids because I'm making very stupid decisions. But yeah, that's the game. It's intriguing. It's all about this philosophy and politics. It's very intriguing and a little bit of like, I think it's inspired by real history, our history on a lot of levels, but it's twisting it to make it, you know, more fantasy sci-fi. So that's pretty interesting. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to quit this game and I will share with you the link to the store page if you're curious about learning more about this story. If you want to wishlist it or purchase it. It is no longer on sale, unfortunately. It is 13 Canadian dollars to buy it at full price right now. But it is intriguing, and it is probably, like many other games, going to go back on sale eventually. So, you know, it might be something worth putting on your wish list for later. We have now played every single game that I was given by the game devs. I thought some of them I would not even have the time to touch because I thought, you know, I wouldn't have the time period. Like, I thought they might be longer or that I would get more tired. But I think we went through a lot of games and it's kind of been easy enough. I don't feel too tired. It was very fun, very exciting to try everything. Things happen, definitely. And I hope you guys discovered some new interesting games throughout all of this. And that you wishlisted some things and you know, got intrigued by indie games. I think games that have a lot of decisions and different endings and consequences are super interesting. I feel like all games should have that, but it doesn't happen to be everybody's opinion. So I enjoy the games where I can actually have an impact on the world like this. It's really fun. I hope you guys also, you know, come to learn about that sort of game and encourage indie game developers because they are the most passionate about what they're producing, and the more passion they receive in return, the more they will invest into future really cool games so that we can keep having amazing creative works of art as games. I think it's a worthy endeavor. And that's kind of what I aim to do with my writing, so I can kind of understand. Thanks again to show us these indie games. I really find it interesting to see other ideas. Yeah. Like, there was so many variety and so much variety and options, and I'm super impressed by the amount of like creativity in every single game that we played and tried. It felt absolutely like a whirlwind of emotion and color and story and character. It was absolutely amazing.